Hello everybody, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new World of Tanks video. And today we'll have a grind review. So, before you ask, what is a grind review, RagingRaptor? I'll tell you. It is a review of a tank I grinded more or less without tons of free XP through. And this will be the WZ-111-1G FT, the tier 8 Chinese tank destroyer of the regular branch. And well, what will you expect from that review? First of all, we'll have a short look at how many games I have, the tank stats in general, the armor layout, then other stats, how many experience or how much experience you need to get through this thing in general, the gun stats, because there's several different guns, and lastly, the last game where we'll have a look at the best game in this tank I ever had. So, well, what did I have with this tank? Did I have it good? Did I have it bad? Let's have a quick look at it. Obviously, it's not up here, it is quite far down in the tier 8 genre. Here it is. 105 games I had to finish this tank off. 63% win chance, it's 3% above my average win rate on all of my 33,000 games, which is 60. 2,311 average damage, a hit rate of 71%, a survival rate of almost 50%, and well, my armor use coefficient is not really that good. It's 0.7, meaning that I block roughly 70% of my, or averaging blocking of damage is 530. So you know what I'm talking about when you compare it with a heavy tank, for example. It's around a 1 or more, because 1 is roughly how much you would block, like 1 times your tank's HP. Anywho, you might wonder yourself, 105 games, how many games these were in different type of tank tiers? Well, fear not, dear viewer, I made an actual list for you. Ta-da! As you can see, in all of those 105 games, I got ammo-ranked ones from full HP. That's probably the most important one. Then, on the 11th of October, it was Wednesday, I had 13 tier 10 games, 7 tier 9, 6 tier 8s, one of which was a tier 8 only game. On the 12th of October, we had a first day, which was 27 tier 10 games, 9 tier 9 games, and 17 tier 8 games, 5 of which tier 8 only. And on the magnificent 13th, the Friday, we had 10 games in tier 10, 9 games in tier 9, and 7 games in tier 8, with 4 being tier 8 only. As you can see, almost 50% of those games were sadly in tier 10, making this tank quite obnoxious to grind through when it comes to being stock. But well, what is this tank in general, or what are the stats in general? Not this one, this will have a look later on if you enjoyed this video. The tank stats in general, it has 3 different guns, which we will go closer in later on, but the first thing you will notice is it has only 1000 hit points, and those 1000 hit points are quite a bummer. Your premium counterpart has more hit points, and other TTs has also more hit points, and it feels like really annoying because, well, you can get one-shotted by tier 10 tanks. You get two-shotted by most tanks. You get three-shotted by, well, in the end, all of the tanks, most likely. And, like, it really feels bad that the Scorpion G can quite reliably two-shot you. Sure, he needs to get a little bit lucky because his alpha damage for 2 shots is 980, but again, there's a 20 damage, which are, well, it's the gap between life or death. You know what I mean? But now you say, well, it has 180mm of front armor and 80mm of side armor. That sounds good. Dear viewer, you're quite wrong there. The armor is the same as a WZ-111. Frontally, 100mm on the pike nose, which is really not that strong. 120mm in the lower plate, which is decently angled, but still not that strong. And this 180mm of red carpet. Honestly, yes, it looks great, but it isn't. Tier 8 tanks reliably penetrated. If you go hull down, which would mean you utilize your 6 degrees of gun depression, It can get a little bit bouncier, but as soon as they hit the flat surfaces, it's again super weak. 240 millimeters of armor is for me not really good amount of armor, because every tier 8 TD should be able to penetrate that with not big deals or not big problems. And with premium ammunition, it will be even easier. And with 50% of your games being in tier 10, meaning that most of the guns there have 250 millimeters of penetration, making your armor close to useless. The gun mantlet is also really weak, 200 millimeters when it comes to be when you shoot at the cheeks of the gun mantlet. Otherwise it can be strong, but that's about it. It can also happen though that you bounce from there and immediately rush into this port or this port. Meaning, well, rip armor. The side armor is 80 millimeters flat on, so if you get caught on the side, chances are people will penetrate you, except if they hit those spaced armor plates, because lower it is quite nicely angled. But anyway, armor is not your strong suit. Neither is your speed. You might think, well, it's WZ-111, it will have great speed, like the tier 9, the tier 8 or the tier 10 vehicle. No. They do share the same engine. Also, this is quite annoying. You need to grind the engine for yourself. And you know why? Because for some apparent reason, even though you have it on tier 9 vehicle, it's not the same, which is really darn annoying. But it is something about the weight, I think, and the ground resistance, and this is why the ground resistance perk is really a good investment for those tanks. Really, it felt a lot better, but you also need the turn traverse speed, because the traverse speed is also not good. 23 degrees per second, you will see it in the replays. It's just atrocious, way too slow. And lastly, the HP to ton ratio is not that good. With the bigger engine, it is 13.4. I use quality oil. This 5% for 5,000 credits is something I said, yes, I need this. Those 5% could save my life. And lastly, 45 kilometers top speed. You come down from 50 kilometers top speed on the tier 7 one to 45, and this is really to 35, and this is really meh, really sad, really annoying. 18 kilometers backward speed though is really good, really great. But again, your speed is simply not up to the task. The tier 7 tank gets roughly to 40 kilometers per hour, but downhill it goes to 50, which is great. This tank doesn't. The camouflage is also much worse than on the tier 6 or the tier 7 vehicle. Probably because you think, well, it has armor, you go more aggressive. But no, you can't go more aggressive. Again, I showed you the armor is not strong. The view range is generally not good. But you use binoculars, how I used to do. It gets manageable, because when you are at tier 6, you will have 445 meters of view range when you have binos activated, which is a great thing to have. Seriously, you can outplay tons of people. And well, I am also suggesting you to watch my video about the WZ-111 tank, where I outplayed people with simply being a stealthy tank and using my view range. But now, another thing which is a really big bummer. You need a lot of experience to get through this tank. First of all, I suggest you to get the tracks. 15,000 experience are well invested, because then you are finally allowed to get binos, to get tank gun rammer, to get vents. This is my personal setup. The aim time, yes, you need to wait a little bit, but it's workable and it's manageable. But again, you need this 15,000 experience for the tracks. And then you're stuck with the stock gun, but you can get a middle gun for 44,000 experience. And then the next one for 66,000 experience. Yep. You need to grind through almost 120,000 experience till you have this tank almost elite. Another 28k to get it full elite. Because the engine is actually a good idea, because the tier 9 tank can use it as well, which is a good plan to do. It's a good idea. The tier 10 vehicle gets even a little bit more horsepower. But now, this is why this tank really bugged me out in the beginning. because it's simply a free XP drain, and I didn't want to go to use too many free XPs. Just the tracks, and that was it. With this tank it is the same, just the tracks and that's it, because this tank actually is quite good when it comes to stock grinds. Anywho, let's have a look at the guns, because, well, after the 15,000 experience you had to get, you'll get the next gun, the 100. First of all, you have the stock gun. The stock gun is the gun, the same gun, the top gun, the tier 7 TD uses, where it is super adequate and really great and a pleasure to play with. 192mm of penetration on tier 7 TDs is great, 250 with heat is even better. But on tier 8 it starts to get annoying. I played 7 games in team battles and it simply didn't work out. 33% win chance, just saying. And now you need to understand that 50% of your games are tier 10 games. In tier 10 games, 250mm of heat penetration is simply not enough. 192mm of average penetration is simply not enough. It doesn't cut the tank good. It doesn't even penetrate reliably an IS-7 and IS-3 front. It doesn't reliably penetrate several tier 7 tanks, and this is really annoying. But oh well, you need around 60,000 experience to get the second gun. The second gun being the same as the 1-to-1 uses, the same as the IS-4, ST1, the T10 or the IS-8, how you like to call it, uses. And the DPM goes down by a lot, by 600 to be precise. And this is also the big problem with this gun. Yes, it gets more alpha, yes, it gets more penetration, and this is really important. You go from 192 to 250 roughly, and 310 heat penetration. But the accuracy stays the same. Same goes with the aim time. And this is really darn annoying, because you can't snipe with this gun. It really doesn't feel great. Especially, you just simply feel useless. Look, right now, with the middle gun on your tank, you are in every single aspect worse than the tier 8 tank destroyer called WZ-120. Your counterpart, your premium tank version, is in every aspect better at that point. It has over 2 seconds better reload time. It has 900 DPM better. It is much faster, has a much better top speed, has much more reliable armor. It has even, I think, faster aim time. It's really annoying. Seriously, this gun is like, it's workable with, but you simply feel useless. If you play against another WZ-120 TD, you simply know you won't be able to win a trade. He shoots faster, he has more reliable armor than you, and he's faster. He's in every aspect better. And then you need another 66,000 experience. But then comes the Sanctuary. Then your destiny is finally gone. You finally achieved greatness. You finally got the 130mm gun. And it's not a shabby 490 average damage gun like the WZ-111 tier 9 tank has, or the tier 10 heavy. No. It is a Chinese version of the Jack Tiger's 12.8cm top gun. 560 alpha on tier 8. 271mm of penetration, 340mm of heat penetration, 300 DPM more than the middle gun, 300 DPM less than the stock gun, more accurate, faster aim time. And you finally achieved greatness. I'm not kidding. After having the big gun, I went back and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to grind through the engine because, hey, this gun finally makes fun. This tank just went from a steaming pile of oopsies to a great tank because you can finally snipe, you can finally penetrate stuff, and I simply was blown away and I have to say, damn. Dang, diggity dang. The grind was worth it. Because, what can I say? you finally feel comfortable to play tier 10 games. You have a Jack Tiger gun, a gun which is usually reserved for a tier 9 vehicle. And there you have it on tier 8. With decent enough penetration, decent enough DPM. Great accuracy in my opinion for such a big gun. And yes, I had a lot of fun playing that. And first and foremost, in the beginning, I had 1600 average damage per game. After installing the big gun and grinding through this tank, I had 2200. I pushed those guns, that's quite a lot. And then another 116,000 experience later, you got a tier 9 vehicle. And you finally are at a point where you can finally use armor, and it doesn't really matter which gun you use. Both guns are good. Honestly, I do right now have the big gun, but I think the smaller gun is a little bit better, even though it has 2 DPM less. And the good thing about the big gun is the tier 9 tank, it has 290mm of AP penetration and 400 with heat. But now it is time to go into the game which I told you about. And here we are on Karelia in a defense on the defending side of the team. Pretty darn interesting, I would say, don't you think? Because it is a tier 10 game, obviously. And this game is the game where I had the most amount of damage. 6,500, just keep that in mind. And as already said, I'm using quality oil for this spicy and better, well, engine power. I still use my binocular telescope, and you can see the aim time of this tank is pretty darn usable. It's not good or something, or it's not great, or it's up, but it's not bad. It's not something like the SU-122 or 44 or the T-34-3 or the STG. It's something you can work with. And so far we decided to look at the 1-2 line because our AB line is heavily supported by many tanks. So let's have a look. Right now the Object 140 spots the WZ-111-1G. Let's have a look if we can get him a nice little bonbon present. I'm right now aiming for the medium tank which was spotted back there, and well, I just do a blind shot, even though it was bad because right now the IS-3 is just YOLOing down and I was not reloaded, but 11.8 seconds, it's not too big of a deal. And then also good thing about this gun is the shell velocity is quite high in my opinion. It's not APCR high, but it's usable high. The Badger 12T will do a great job spotting for us the IS-3, and there we go, a nice little shot, 576 HP gone of a tier 8 vehicle. And this is what I mean about this tank. The 390 damage don't really hurt that much. The 440, yeah, they start to hurt, especially also tier 10 vehicles. But this gun, this 560 damage, those hurt people. You 3-shot heavy tanks of your same tier. You 2-shot TDs. And you can one-shot several tier 6 tank destroyers, like a Hellcat if you get lucky. I sadly was not that lucky, but doing 560 damage to a 570 HP target really makes the tank go wild. There we go, the WZ is trying to juke around a little bit, doesn't know I'm aiming at him, 610 damage. That's again a quite good amount of damage for him, and again, the accuracy works pretty darn well. Sadly, it's standing 2-5, we are 5000 HP down, and that's a lot in my opinion. 5000 is a lot. Luckily for us, we get some spotting damage, the T95 finishes off the WZ-111, and the flank looks rather clear. So far, I'm making another blind shot at the, which we later start to know is the Lorraine from Diamantene Garde. And well, now I decide to reposition myself. You can see the turning of this tank is really bad. Luckily for us, there is a FV4202 which doesn't spot us. A nicely, quite fully aimed shot into his turret, 636 HP gone. There we go, you can see the turning rate of this tank is really obnoxious and really annoying, and it won't be well with the tier 10 vehicle. It gets worse when you get stunned, trust me. It's really darn annoying. 2200 damage is already quite a good call, quite a good thing to have. 2200 damage for a tier 8 vehicle is what you try to get, and this is like almost unicum status when you have a kill. You can see 1800 W8 is great, but yeah. Sadly, we get spotted by the FV4202. He luckily misses us, and I am jogging into rather safety, and there we have T95 is detracked. I wanted to do the hazy snapshot because I saw him driving backwards, and I always say, well, what happens if I miss the shot? Not much. I just miss it. If I do the shot, I have the chance to hitting. And there we go. A really, really lucky shot into the cupola of the T95. 3300 damage, another tier 9 vehicle done. And now look at that, 5552 HP Jack Tiger gone. Why? Because we have such a great Alpha Strike gun. And well, 3, 2, 1, boom. And the reload time is really not that big of a deal. 11.8 seconds is good of a reload time. You can brawl heavies because you have roughly the same amount of reload as they have. Just again, you do 560 damage, while they do 390 to 440. And a little bit of aiming, as stupid as, yeah, what's it called, stun of the RD and the dead crew member gone, but the FV4202 pays the price with his tank. And as you can see, I immediately removed the stun because I saw that my loader was, well, not under the livings anymore. So I want to have a downtime on my medkit, so I rather rush it right now out, get the stun off, get my crew member fixed, so that if I get stunned again later into the battle, that I have it up again. But now I also have to say props to the Udas. The Udas really did a great job relocating and giving us, in the end, a nice little medal called Brothers in Arms. We are right now only one AP shot left. We didn't even need it heat that whole game. It's sad that we had to shoot heat, but I simply didn't want to get into risk to not have heat because type 5 heavies and mouses are kind of annoying tanks to face. But there we go, we are relocating ourselves, trying to get the shots on a J Panther 2. Nevertheless, the Udas finishes him off. I'm shooting him a nice little invite for our platoon. He understands it perfectly, and we are right now going to get a Brothers in Arms if we both survive. I'm standing here, binoculars activated, and there is the Udas. I am turning around, making a hasty snapshot because I was not sure if he spotted me. He didn't. Luckily for us, we get a 587 shot in. And this is what I mean. You are reliably two-shotting enemy TDs. They can't really do that. Like, yes, the Rheinmetall could, but sadly the shot went haywire. Like again, the Rheinmetall could if he gets lucky with the small gun, Scorpion G the same. But don't forget, you have roughly the same amount of reload time. So don't forget, against the Scorpion or Rheinmetall, you have HE, which does around 660 alpha with a good enough penetration. I sadly never really used it, to be honest. And right now we are patting our backs each other, we're saying, hey, you played so well, and he said, oh yeah, you too. And there we have it, 4.8k right now. Somehow I need to still get 1700 damage. There we have it. T49 running away. We are using our aim time, the quite accurate gun. And there we go. Nice little shot. The heat shells, the AP shells are quite fast, not as slow as the 152mm gun on the tier 9 vehicle. And there we go, 5400 damage. But wait, the Batched RD only has 500 HP. Where do I get those 1k HP? And you will be surprised. Those two blank shots I did onto the low range from DG, from the Diamond Guard, connected. And they connected hard. As you can see here, this poor fella lost 1000 HP, making him almost a one-shot. Yes, 1200 HP, 1000 are gone, ace tank and sniper, top gun and the Brothers in Arms achievement. 6,500 damage, 4 kills, 2,400 by the Udes, also very well played. 15 shots, 13 hits, 13 penetrations. Yes, the shot on T95 was lucky, we had some lucky shots, but honestly, this tank feels rather accurate when it comes to snapshotting. And lastly, 734 free spotting damage. And well, base experience of 1,468. Let's wrap this tank up. Stock grind is horrible, like it really is annoying. When you have the middle gun, it starts to work, but you still feel betrayed by Wargaming for having such a bad DPM. And it's really annoying, it is. It's like, why do you do this? Why does a premium tank is better in every kind of way? But when you have the big gun, you feel like God. You feel like it was worth it. I had tons of fun with this gun. It felt so good. It felt so much damage into my hands and feeded me so well. And honestly, yes, it was worth the grind. But I would say if you want to start to grind that tank, get 60,000 free XP ready to get off of this obnoxious stock gun and get the tracks so I can mount modules. This is my pro tip for that tank. Otherwise, when you as soon as you have finally the top gun, you are set and Gucci. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had to make many takes already because I'm stupid. I forgot, for example, to unmute my microphone and so on. Really unnecessary. But well, I hope you enjoyed it. If so, let me know in the comment section below. The next tank will be the T34-2 GFT TS70D or the tier 9 variant of that tank. We'll see which I will do first. Thanks for watching and have a great day.